For this problem, we are computing a center of mass, and we're given a density of cosine of x, and we're given an interval from 0 to pi over 2. I've written down the common formulas that we use to find the center of mass. You'll notice that finding a center of mass involves finding a mass first, so we'll do that first. To find the mass, we're going to integrate the density between 0 and pi over 2. The integral of cosine is just positive sine, and if we evaluate that from 0 to pi over 2, we get that our mass is 1. Well, that's a nice convenient result. Let's move to finding the center of mass. We're going to integrate between 0 and pi over 2 again, except this time we're going to integrate x times the density. And considering that m is just 1, we just have an integral from 0 to pi over 2 of x times the cosine of x dx. Now to do this integral, we're going to have to integrate by parts. My next set of videos are actually going to be about integrating by parts, so maybe this is just a little bit out of order, but I'll have those videos up soon, so you can jump ahead to the integration by parts videos, and you will see this shorthand notation here. What we do when we integrate by parts is we choose from our integral a u and a dv. U is typically chosen to be something that will simplify when we differentiate it. So if we choose u equals x, we will get du equals simply dx, and what that leaves us in the integral for dv is a cosine of x dx. Integrating cosine of x dx gives us positive sine of x. Now plugging all of that stuff into this formula for integration by parts tells us that our original integral can be written as x times the sine of x, that's uv, minus the integral of v du, which is just the integral of sine of x dx. We can integrate sine of x dx, which is negative cosine x, and we can evaluate this whole thing between 0 and pi over 2, and let's see what we get. Well, we know that the sine of pi over 2 is 1, we know that the cosine of pi over 2 is 0, sine of 0, not that it matters, is 0, and cosine of 0 is 1. That leaves us with just a couple of non-zero terms, pi over 2 minus 1, and that's going to be our final answer. A little bit of a sanity check would help. Pi over 2 minus 1 is a decimal. It's around 0.5 or something like that. The center of mass is then on the interval from 0 to pi over 2, which makes sense, so I think that this is a correct answer. Alright, I hope that this helps you out.